I always thought trust was simple, but I was wrong. When Emily told me she had extra evening tutoring sessions with Mr. Carter, I believed her without even asking questions. I never imagined she would lie to me. I never imagined I would walk into something that would feel like a punch to the chest. I remember walking into her house that night with a bag of her favorite snacks. When her mom opened the door, she said, "Oh, you're here to see Emily?" And I nodded. I told her, "Yeah." She said she might be tired, but I just wanted to drop these off. She smiled and pointed toward Emily's room. When I pushed her door open, I said, "Emily? You awake?" But the room was empty. I stepped inside, set the snacks on her desk, and that's when I saw it. A dark blue jacket lying neatly on her bed. I mumbled, "What? Whose is this?" even though I already knew. I lifted it slowly and saw the school staff badge inside the pocket. "Mr. Carter?" I whispered. My stomach dropped so fast it hurt. I sat on the edge of her bed and held the jacket like it might explain itself. "Why is this here?" I whispered again. My mind raced through every excuse she had ever given me. Extra classes, extra time, extra work. I said the words out loud, trying to make them fit, but they felt like lies now. I wanted to believe there was an innocent reason. I wanted to believe she wouldn't hurt me like this. As I held the jacket, I heard the front door open. "Emily, you're home?" her mom called. I froze, clutching the jacket like evidence. Footsteps rushed down the hallway before Emily pushed her door open. "What are you doing here?" she asked. I said, "I came to surprise you." She stared at the jacket in my hands and stiffened. "Why are you touching that?" she said quickly. I answered, "Maybe because it's lying on your bed." She looked away and muttered, "It's not what you think." I asked, "Then tell me what it is." She stepped closer and tried to grab it from me. I pulled back. "Whose jacket is it?" I asked again. She sighed and said, "It's just my teacher's. He forgot it after class." I stared at her. "On your bed." She snapped, "Why are you acting like this?" I said, "Because you lied to me about coming tonight. And now your teacher's jacket is here." She ran a hand through her hair and muttered, "You're overreacting." I whispered, "Am I? Or are you hiding something?" She sat on the chair and stared at the floor. "Look," she said, "I don't want to fight." I replied, "I don't want to fight either. I just want the truth." She didn't answer. Silence filled the room. I finally said, "Emily, I trust you. But this doesn't feel right." She whispered, "I told you it's nothing." I shook my head. "Then why do I feel like everything is falling apart?" She looked at me then, her eyes nervous, and said, "Can we please talk about this another time?" I stood up and placed the jacket back on the bed. "Fine," I said, "but I'm not stupid." She whispered, "I never said you were." I answered, "You didn't have to." She walked to the door and said, "Go home. I'm tired." I nodded though it hurt. "Okay," I said, "but this isn't over." As I left her room, I knew something between us had changed forever. When Emily walked into the room that night, she forced a smile so quickly it almost looked painful. I said, "So you're home early?" And she replied, "Yeah, class ended faster than I thought." I pointed at the jacket on her bed and asked, "You want to tell me why your teacher's jacket is still here?" She shrugged and said, "I told you he forgot it. Why are we still talking about this?" I whispered, "Because nothing you're saying feels real." She rolled her eyes. "You're overthinking again." Those words hit harder than anything else. I said, "Don't do that. Don't act like I'm crazy." She snapped, "I never said you were crazy. You're just being dramatic." I asked, "Then answer me. Why is it on your bed and not in the living room? Or anywhere else?" She replied, "Maybe I picked it up. I don't know." "Why are you making this such a big deal?" I stared at her. "Because it feels wrong." She walked past me and said, "Well, maybe your feelings are wrong. Did you think about that?" My chest tightened. "Emily, I'm not trying to fight. I'm trying to understand." She spun around. "Then stop questioning everything I do." I whispered, "I wouldn't have to if you didn't hide things from me." She froze for a moment, then forced a laugh. "Hide things? Seriously?" I nodded. "Yeah. You didn't want me to come tonight. And now this jacket is here." She crossed her arms. "I told you I was tired." I answered, "You told me that last week too. And the week before." She frowned. "Are you keeping score now?" I sighed. "No. I'm trying to figure out when you stop being honest with me." Her face tightened. "I'm not doing this," she said, grabbing her phone. I asked quietly, "Do you even care how this feels for me?" She muttered, "I care, but you're taking things too far." I whispered, I don't think I'm taking them far enough. She stepped closer, forcing a soft tone. Look, you need to relax. You always jump to the worst idea. I shook my head. No. I jumped to the idea that makes sense with what I see. She let out a loud sigh. Can we just drop this? I'm hungry. I said, I can't drop it. Not when my heart is screaming that something is wrong. She brushed past me. I'm going downstairs. If you want to argue, go home. The coldness in her voice made my stomach twist. I didn't say anything. I just watched her leave the room without looking back. As soon as she was gone, I grabbed my phone. My hands were shaking when I called Liam. When he picked up, he asked, Dude, what's going on? You sound terrible. I said, I think Emily's lying to me. He went quiet. About what? I whispered, her teacher. His jacket is on her bed. Liam cursed under his breath. Man, I didn't want to be the one to say this. My heart dropped. Say what? Liam hesitated. I saw her last week. She was at the cafe near school. I said, so what? She goes there all the time. He replied, she wasn't alone. I felt my throat close. Who was she with? Liam sighed. Mr. Carter. I pressed my hand against my forehead. Are you sure? He answered, I wish I wasn't. I whispered, she keeps telling me I'm overthinking. Liam said, she always says that when she's hiding something. I sat on Emily's bed, still staring at the jacket. I don't know what to do. Liam said, you deserve the truth. Don't let her twist it on you. I swallowed hard. Yeah. He asked, you want me to come over? I shook my head even though he couldn't see me. No. I need to breathe. After hanging up, I heard Emily downstairs laughing with her mom, like nothing had happened. I looked at the jacket again and whispered, why are you doing this to me? My chest felt heavy. Her smile upstairs was fake. But my pain was real. The next afternoon, I walked into Emily's house with my chest already tight. She looked up from the couch and said, what now? You still mad about a jacket? I answered, I just want you to tell me the truth. She groaned loudly. Oh my God, you're still on this? You're being controlling. I stared at her. Wanting honesty is controlling? She shot back, yes, when you keep digging for problems that aren't there. I said quietly, there are problems, Emily. And you know it. She stood up fast. I'm done talking. You're exhausting me. She grabbed her bag and marched toward the door. I asked, where are you going? She snapped, anywhere but here. I need space. Then the door slammed behind her. My stomach twisted. Every part of me screamed that she was hiding something. I walked around the living room trying to breathe. Then I noticed her phone plugged into the charger on the table. I froze. Her lock screen lit up with a new notification. Carter, you free tonight? My throat tightened. I whispered, no, please. I sat down, staring at the phone like it might burn me. For a long minute I couldn't move. I didn't want to be that guy who checked his girlfriend's phone. But I also didn't want to be a fool. I whispered, I just need the truth, and picked it up. Her phone opened easily, she had never changed her password. The message thread was right there. I tapped it. The first message hit like a punch. Emily, I can't stay long tonight. He keeps asking questions again. Carter, just tell him he's overthinking. He always buys that. My chest caved in. No. Emily, what are you doing? I whispered. My hand shook as I scrolled. Emily, he's sweet but boring. Emily, too nice. Too clingy. Carter, you need a man who challenges you. Emily, exactly. He just worships me. It's cute but tiring. My vision blurred. I whispered, boring? Clingy? As if saying the words out loud would make them hurt less. I scrolled further. Worse messages appeared, flirty, private, intimate. Things she never said to me. Pet names. Plans. Late-night jokes. Complaints about me. Complaints about my kindness. Complaints about my love. I covered my mouth and whispered, how long has this been going on? My heart felt like it was cracking open. A photo popped up, Emily smiling in his car, leaning close. A message under it read, Emily, wish I could stay longer but he'll notice. I grabbed my stomach, feeling sick. Oh God. Emily. My voice shook as I said her name like she could hear me. I forced myself to scroll to the top and take screenshots. My hand kept slipping because it wouldn't stop shaking. I whispered, I need someone to see this. I'm not imagining it. I sent them all to Liam. Not even 10 seconds later he called me. Dude, what the hell am I looking at? He asked. I choked out, "It's real, Liam. All of it." He said, "I'm coming over." I whispered, "No. I don't want her mom to see me like this. I'll meet you later." Before hanging up, he said, "You don't deserve this. Not even close." I set the phone back exactly where it had been and tried to steady my breathing, but I couldn't. Every inhale felt like broken glass. Every thought felt heavier than the last. Then I heard footsteps at the door. "Hey, did you touch my phone?" Emily's voice came from behind me. I turned slowly. "Why would you ask that?" I forced out, trying to keep my voice from shaking. She stared at me, eyes narrowing. "Because it moved." I said, "Maybe you bumped it before you left." She looked at me for a long, tense second, then sighed. "Whatever. Maya's picking me up." I asked, "Maya?" She nodded. "Yeah, don't worry. I'm not running away with my teacher." She smirked like it was a joke. Her words hit me so hard I almost dropped to my knees. I whispered, "I just want you to stop lying to me." She rolled her eyes. "Then stop imagining things." As she left, I whispered to myself, "I saw everything, Emily." My voice broke. I grabbed my jacket and stepped outside, calling my coworker Sarah. When she answered, she asked, "Hey, you okay?" "You sound," I interrupted, "I'm not okay. Not even close." She replied softly, "Then talk to me." "I'm here." And for the first time that day, I let myself cry. I didn't plan to touch her phone again, but when I saw it on the table buzzing nonstop, I picked it up to silence it. Right then the door opened and Emily walked in. Her eyes widened. "Are you kidding me?" she shouted. "You're going through my phone again?" I froze. "I wasn't, I just picked it up because it was buzzing." She marched toward me. "Don't lie to me. You were checking it." I said, "Emily, I'm not lying. I just touched it." She snatched it from my hand. "You're disgusting. Who does that?" I whispered, "Someone who's scared he's losing the person he loves." She scoffed. "You're not losing me. You're pushing me away with your controlling behavior." I stepped back. "Controlling? You've been lying to me for weeks." She crossed her arms. "No. You've been paranoid for weeks." My voice rose. I saw the texts. Her face twisted. "What texts?" I answered, "The ones with him. Don't pretend you don't know." She stared for a moment, then exploded. "You invaded my privacy? You actually went through my conversation?" I shouted, "I saw you calling me boring. I saw you calling me clingy." She threw her hands up. "Because you are clingy. Look at you. You're freaking out over nothing." I felt something snap inside me. "Nothing? You're meeting him at night. You're lying to me about classes. You're flirting with him." She stepped closer, her voice shaking with anger. "If I talk to him, so what? Maybe he listens. Maybe he understands me." I stared at her, stunned. "So you admit it?" She glared. "I admit that you're suffocating me. You check my phone, you question everything, you make me feel trapped." I whispered, "I only questioned you after things stopped making sense." She let out a bitter laugh. "Maybe I deserve better than someone who acts like a detective." Those words hit me harder than the messages did. I felt them cut straight through my chest. "Better?" I whispered. "That's what you think of me?" She didn't soften. "Yeah, maybe I do." The air felt thin. I stepped back from her. "I can't breathe in here." She rolled her eyes. "Then leave if you want to." I nodded slowly. "Fine. I will." I walked out into the freezing night without a jacket, feeling like my heart had been ripped open. My breath turned into white fog as I whispered, "What did I do wrong?" My legs carried me down the street without direction until I ended up near Liam's house. I sent him a text. "You home?" He replied instantly, "Yeah." Doors unlocked. When he opened the door, he took one look at me and said, "Bro, what happened?" I barely got the words out. "She said she deserves better." He hugged me quickly. "Come inside." We sat on his couch and I told him everything, every word she threw at me. He clenched his jaw. "She's playing you. She's twisting everything." I put my head in my hands. Why would she do this to me? Liam hesitated, then said, "There's something else." I looked up. "What?" He grabbed his phone and showed me a picture. "Someone sent this to me tonight. Anonymous number." My heart raced. "Show me." He handed me his phone. It was a picture of Emily getting into Mr. Carter's car. Her hand was on his arm. His face was turned toward her, smiling. The timestamp was from last night. I whispered, No, this can't be real." Liam said softly, "It is." I stared at the photo until my vision blurred. Then I whispered, This is the night everything broke. Liam put a hand on my shoulder. I've got you. You're not alone. But in that moment I felt more alone than I ever had in my life. Sleep never touched me. I lay on Liam's couch staring at the ceiling, replaying that picture again and again, feeling my chest cave in. When the sun finally pushed through the curtains, I whispered, I have to face him. Liam sat beside me and said, Are you sure you want to do this? I nodded because avoiding it felt worse than whatever I might hear. I walked to school with my heartbeat hammering in my ears. The hallways felt colder than usual. When I spotted Mr. Carter outside his office, leaning against the doorframe, something inside me sank. I said, We need to talk. He straightened up and replied, Whatever you think happened, it's not what it looks like. His voice shook just barely but enough. I asked, Were you with her that night? He dragged a hand through his hair and muttered, You're misunderstanding everything. I stepped closer. Then explained the picture. He froze. His eyes darted away, and that was all the answer I needed. Emily's voice sliced through the hallway. What are you doing? She shouted as she rushed toward us. I said, I'm asking him what you wouldn't tell me. She grabbed my arm. You're embarrassing me. Stop acting paranoid. I pulled my arm free and said, Paranoid people don't get pictures sent to their best friends. She hissed, You're making a scene. I replied, Then give me one honest sentence. She looked at Mr. Carter, and the silence between them screamed louder than anything she could say. I whispered, Did you choose him? Emily snapped, Don't twist this. You're the one who went through my phone. The blame hit me, but anger surged stronger. I said, I looked because I felt you slipping away. She fired back, That's your insecurity, not my problem. Mr. Carter stepped forward saying, Let's calm down. I glared at him. Don't pretend you're neutral. His mouth opened but nothing came out. Emily groaned, Please, you're ruining everything. Her words cracked something inside me. I breathed out slowly and said, I guess I finally get it. Emily frowned. Get what? I whispered, that I can't keep choosing someone who never chooses me. Her mouth tightened, but she didn't argue. Mr. Carter shifted uneasily, and for the first time I felt the weight lift. Not fully, but enough to breathe again. I turned away from them, but Emily grabbed my wrist again. Where are you going? She demanded. I said, Somewhere I can think. She scoffed, So you're just running away now? I looked her in the eyes. No. I'm stepping back before I lose myself completely. She shook her head. You're being dramatic. I answered, If you had nothing to hide, you wouldn't be scared of the truth. She went silent, eyes flicking toward Mr. Carter again. I felt the final thread snap. I said, I loved you enough to fight for us. She muttered, I didn't ask you to. That one sentence cut deeper than everything else. I whispered, Yeah, I know. Then I walked past them, my footsteps echoing down the hall, each one heavier than the last but somehow freeing. Behind me, Emily called my name, but I didn't turn around. I stepped outside into the cold air, letting it sting my face. My phone buzzed, but I didn't check it. I just kept walking until the noise of the school faded behind me. Liam's voice replayed in my head, Choose yourself. For the first time, those words made sense. I didn't know what came next, but I knew this. Whatever I rebuilt from here would finally be mine today. I muted everything, her calls, her messages, even the notifications that usually pulled me back in. Liam asked, You sure you're done this time? I said, Yeah, I have to be. The silence that followed felt strange, but for once it didn't scare me. My phone buzzed nonstop. Emily's name kept lighting up the screen. Pick up, one message said. Then another, We need to talk. A minute later, I'm sorry, okay? I put the phone face down. Liam raised a brow. Not even curious? I shook my head. If I look, I'll get sucked into the same cycle. At school, Maya walked up to me, her voice soft. Hey, you look like you're barely holding on. I sighed. I'm trying. She hesitated, then asked, Did something happen with Carter? I didn't answer directly. Something happened with a lot of things. She nodded like she already knew. I filed a report, she said quietly. My head snapped up. You what? Maya held her ground. I saw you yesterday. You looked destroyed. And I've seen him with other students too. Someone had to do something. I whispered, You didn't have to get involved. She replied, Maybe not. But I wanted to help. A few feet away, two students whispered loud enough for me to hear. Did you see Emily crying in the locker room? One said. People are saying she got caught with a teacher. The other gasped. Seriously? That's insane. I walked past them, heart tight but oddly numb. Liam murmured, "It's starting." I said, "I don't want to enjoy this." He replied, "You're not. You're healing." At lunch, Sarah sat across from me. "You look like you're carrying a mountain," she said. I chuckled weakly. "Feels more like it's sitting on my chest." She leaned forward. "Talk to me." I hesitated, then said, "Everything just collapsed. And now everyone's talking." Sarah nodded slowly. "You don't owe anyone explanations." I rubbed my forehead. "I'm trying to stay quiet. That's all I can manage right now." She smiled gently. "Then stay quiet. Let things unfold." My phone buzzed again. This time I glanced at the screen. "Emily, please. I'm begging you. I didn't mean to hurt you." Then, "I swear nothing happened." Another followed quickly. "You're ruining my life by ignoring me." Liam peeked at the text. "Same pattern," he said. I hit mute again. "I'm tired," I whispered. Sarah asked, "Does ignoring her hurt?" I admitted, "Yeah. But answering her hurts more." After classes ended, Principal Harris pulled me aside. "Can we talk?" he said. My stomach flipped. Inside his office, he asked carefully, "Did you witness any inappropriate behavior between Mr. Carter and any student?" I shook my head. "I'm not giving statements." He studied me. "You seem affected." I replied, "It's personal, not official." He nodded slowly. "If you ever want to talk, my door's open." When I stepped out, Emily rushed toward me. Her eyes were red and frantic. "Why are you ignoring me?" she demanded. I stayed silent. She grabbed my sleeve. "Say something." I said quietly, "You said enough already." She shook her head. "People are talking about me. They think I cut her off. I'm not part of that." She pleaded, "Then defend me." I met her eyes. "I can't defend what I don't believe." She looked stunned. "You're choosing them over me?" I answered, "I'm choosing myself." Her lip trembled. "Please, don't do this." I stepped back. "You already did this." She cursed under her breath and stormed away. Sarah approached slowly. "You okay?" she asked. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. "I think I'm starting to be." She placed a hand on my shoulder. "Good. You deserve that." As we walked out together, I felt the sting still alive beneath the surface, but for the first time it wasn't bleeding anymore. I had barely unlocked my door when I heard footsteps rushing up the stairs. "Please don't go inside," Emily cried. I froze. Her eyes were swollen, her breath shaky. "I need to talk to you." I said, "You shouldn't be here." She shook her head desperately. I had nowhere else to go. "Please, listen to me." I kept my hand on the doorknob. "Say what you came to say." She stepped closer. "I'm sorry. I swear I'm sorry. Mr. Carter, he pressured me. He wouldn't leave me alone." I frowned. "That's not what your messages said." She flinched. "I didn't know how to stop him." I panicked. I replied, "You flirted back." Her voice cracked. "Because I was stupid. I didn't realize," I interrupted. "You realized enough to lie to me." She wiped her face. "I was scared you'd leave." I exhaled sharply. "You didn't give me the chance." She reached for my arm. "Can we go inside? Please?" I moved away. "No. Say it here." She sobbed harder. "Everyone hates me, okay? Maya won't even look at me. My parents yelled at me for an hour. And Carter, he got suspended. You don't understand what I'm going through." I stared at her. "What you're going through?" She nodded frantically. "Yes. Everything is falling apart. I need you. You're the only person who ever cared." I said quietly, "You didn't want me when things were easy." She whispered, "I was wrong." I shook my head. "You were comfortable." She reached out again. "Let me fix it." I stepped back once more. "You can't fix what you broke." She whispered, "I can try." I said, "You're not here because you love me. You're here because you lost him, you lost your friends, and you're losing control." She stiffened. "That's not true." I answered, "It is. You're terrified of being alone." Her voice broke completely. "I'm terrified of losing you." I swallowed hard. "You already lost me. Please," she begged. "Just talk to me. Yell at me. Hate me. Do anything but walk away." I leaned against the wall, exhausted. "I don't hate you," I said. "I'm just done bleeding for someone who wouldn't even hand me a bandage." She cried louder. "I didn't mean to hurt you." I looked her in the eyes. "You didn't break my heart. You broke whatever part of me trusted you." Her mouth trembled at my words. "I swear I'll change," she whispered. "Give me one chance." Just one. I shook my head. A chance to do what? Tell me more lies when things get messy again? She covered her face. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. I said, you wanted attention. And he gave you what you wanted. She looked up sharply. It wasn't like that. I replied, then what was it like? She opened her mouth but couldn't answer. For a moment we just stood there in the dim hallway, her crying, me breathing slowly to stay grounded. She whispered, I miss you. I said, you miss the version of me who never questioned you. I miss the real you, she argued. I shook my head again. You didn't notice the real me until he was gone. She tried to step closer. Let me hold you, she pleaded. I put a hand up. Don't. She froze. You really don't want me anymore? I answered, I want peace. And you can't give me that. She whispered, you're choosing to hurt me. I said, I'm choosing not to let you hurt me again. Her voice dropped to a fragile whisper. So this is it? I nodded. This is me finally choosing myself. She wiped her face with shaking hands. I never thought you'd be the strong one. I replied, neither did I. She let out a broken sound and backed away. I'm sorry, she said one last time. I didn't respond. I watched her walk down the stairs until her footsteps disappeared. Then for the first time in months, the silence felt like freedom. When Liam called me that morning, he didn't even say hello. He's gone, he blurted. I sat up in bed. Who's gone? He replied, Mr. Carter. Resigned. Packed up. Left town last night. I rubbed my face stunned. You're serious? Liam said, dead serious. The school posted a statement. No details, but everyone knows why. I exhaled slowly. So it's over. He said, for him? Yeah. For you? Maybe finally. I whispered, I hope so. He added, people are talking, man. They know you weren't lying. I thanked him, hung up, and just sat there letting the relief sink into my bones. At work, Sarah spotted me walking in. You look lighter, she said. I laughed. Maybe because someone finally did the right thing. She tilted her head. You mean the teacher scandal? I nodded. Carter ran. She raised her eyebrows. Good. The whole thing felt off from the start. I sighed. Feels weird. Like justice without celebration. She replied, not all karma is loud. During lunch, a coworker approached me hesitantly. Hey, I wanted to say sorry, he said. I blinked. For what? He looked embarrassed. I believe the rumors. I shouldn't have. I shrugged. It's fine. He shook his head. No, it's not. You didn't deserve any of that. I thanked him quietly and walked away feeling something I hadn't felt in months, vindicated. Later, when I met Liam at the gym, he grinned. Look at you, he said, hitting my shoulder. You're actually showing up on time. I smirked. Because I'm trying not to fall apart anymore. He handed me weights. Nah, you're rebuilding. There's a difference. I nodded and lifted each rep, burning the residue of pain out of my muscles. Between sets, he asked, you heard about Emily? I swallowed. What now? He sighed. Everyone's avoiding her. Maya stopped defending her. People say she knew more than she admitted. I stared at the ground. I don't want to think about her anymore. Liam answered, then don't. She's facing her own consequences. That night, while journaling, my phone buzzed. Sarah texted, proud of you for getting through today. Coffee tomorrow? I smiled for the first time in hours. I replied, yeah. Thanks for checking in. She sent a heart emoji, not romantic, just warm, human. I didn't realize how much I needed that. The next day at the cafe, Sarah pushed a cup toward me. So how's your head doing? I said, better. Still weird. Still heavy. She nodded. Healing isn't pretty. I laughed softly. You sound like a therapist. She grinned. I just read too much. I sipped my coffee. You know, for the first time, I'm not waiting for her to message me. Sarah leaned back. She will. People like her always do. I said, maybe. But I won't answer. She smiled. That's growth. As we talked, a couple of students from the school walked in. One of them approached me nervously. Hey, I didn't get a chance to say this before, she began. But I'm sorry. Emily told people you were controlling. I shouldn't have believed her. I breathed out slowly. It's okay. She shook her head. No, you deserved better. When she walked away, Sarah murmured, see, your truth is coming out. I stared out the window. Feels strange seeing her world fall apart. Sarah asked, do you feel bad? I thought for a moment. Not really. She built that world on lies. Sarah said gently, then this is just gravity. I whispered, I'm finally free. She smiled softly. Then let it stay that way. I nodded. Yeah, I'm not going back. She tapped her cup. Good. Forward looks better on you. For the first time I believed her. When Emily texted, can we talk one last time? I stared at the screen for a long minute. My chest didn't tighten. My hands didn't shake. I simply typed, fine. One last time. We met at a small park near her house. When I walked up, she was sitting on a bench, shoulders slumped, eyes red. She looked nothing like the confident girl who once smiled at me like I was her whole world. She looked lost. She stood when she saw me. Thanks for coming, she whispered. I nodded. Let's just talk. She swallowed hard. I don't even know where to start. I said, start with the truth. For once. She sat back down and buried her face in her hands. I messed up, she said quietly. I replied, yeah, you did. She looked up. Do you hate me? I shook my head. No, I don't hate you. I don't feel anything close to that. She breathed shakily. Then why does it feel like you're so far away from me now? I answered, because I am. Her voice cracked. I regret everything, you know? I regret lying. I regret hurting you. I regret choosing. She stopped, wiping a tear. I regret choosing attention over you. I stared at the ground. You didn't just choose attention. You chose someone you knew would break everything between us. She leaned closer. I wasn't thinking. He made me feel important. I was stupid. I said quietly, I was stupid too. I thought loving you meant trusting everything you said. She whispered, I miss how you loved me. I straightened. You miss certainty, Emily. You miss having someone who believed every word you said. She flinched. That's not fair. I replied, no. It's honest. She looked down at her hands. I thought you'd yell at me, she said. I thought you'd call me names. I shook my head. That's not who I am. She whispered, I know. That's why it hurts. You're still kind. I took a slow breath. Kind doesn't mean weak. She wiped her face again. Do you ever think we could have worked if things were different? She asked. I answered, if things were different, you wouldn't have done what you did. She swallowed. So you're really done with me? I nodded. Yeah, completely. She stared at me with trembling lips. Was I not enough for you? She asked. I sighed. You didn't lose me because you weren't enough. You lost me because I wasn't enough for you. You wanted more attention than real love. She gasped quietly like the words hit her in the chest. I'm sorry, she whispered again. I said, I believe you're sorry. But sorry doesn't fix trust. She reached out like she wanted to touch my hand. Can we at least be friends? I stepped back slightly. No, friends don't do what you did. And I'm not going to shrink myself just to fit in your life again. She broke then, her shoulders shaking, her breath uneven. I ruined everything, she cried. I didn't move to comfort her. I didn't hug her. I didn't wipe her tears the way I used to. I just said, I hope you learn from it. She looked up with swollen eyes. Will you ever think of me? I answered honestly, yes, but not the way you want. She frowned. How then? I stood. As the person who taught me what I should never settle for again. She whispered, so this is really goodbye? I nodded. Yeah, goodbye, Emily. I turned and walked away without looking back. Her crying faded behind me, softer and softer, until it became nothing but wind. For the first time, my heart didn't break. It finally healed. 3 months passed before I even realized how different I felt. One morning, while getting ready for work, I looked in the mirror and said out loud, I'm not hurting anymore. The words didn't feel forced. They felt true. Later that day, I met Liam for lunch. He grinned the moment I sat down. You look annoyingly peaceful, he said. I laughed. Finally. He leaned back. So, no more nightmares? No more late-night overthinking? I shook my head. Not like before. I'm lighter. He tapped the table. Proud of you, man. You crawled out of something ugly. I answered, because you stuck around. He smirked. Damn right I did. After lunch, Maya texted me. Can we talk for a sec? We met outside a small cafe. She looked nervous. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry for not seeing things earlier, she said. I replied gently, you weren't the one who hurt me. She sighed. Still, I should have protected you better. I shook my head. Emily made her choices. Maya lowered her voice. She's different now. Quiet. almost scared of her own shadow. I breathed out. I don't hate her. She blinked. You don't? I shook my head. Hate keeps you tied to someone. I'm done being tied. That evening, I met Sarah near the park. She handed me a coffee and smiled. You survived another week, she teased. I grinned. More than survived. She walked beside me and asked, so what's next for you? I shrugged. Maybe start applying for that internship. Maybe travel. Maybe finally breathe without thinking too hard. She nodded. I like that version of you. I chuckled. Me too. We sat on a bench watching people pass by. Sarah nudged my shoulder. You know, you don't give yourself enough credit. I raised an eyebrow. For what? She replied. For choosing yourself. Not everyone does. I looked straight ahead. It wasn't easy. She asked softly, do you still think about her? I considered the question. Sometimes. But it's like remembering a place I don't live anymore. Sarah smiled. That means you're healing. The next day, I walked past the school on my way to meet Liam. The sun was setting, the sky turning orange. Students were leaving the building, laughing, talking, living their lives. I stopped, staring at the board beside the gate. New faculty, Daniel Pierce, English department. A new name. A completely different name. Something in my chest loosened like a lock finally clicking open. I whispered, it's over. As I stood there, a student bumped into me and said, sorry? I smiled. No worries. And suddenly the world felt bigger. Like I wasn't stuck in my old chapter anymore. I walked away from the building, listening to the sound of my own footsteps. No heaviness. No ache. Just me moving forward. When I reached the corner, my phone buzzed. A message from Liam, beer tonight? I replied, yeah, I'll be there. Another message popped up, this time from Sarah. Don't forget to send me your internship draft. I typed back, I won't. As I put my phone away, I murmured to myself, I'm finally building something that's mine. I paused under a streetlight, watching the shadows stretch behind me. I didn't need revenge, I said quietly. The breeze carried my voice away. I just needed to let her lose me. And she did. I took one last look at the path behind me, not with pain, not with regret, but with acceptance. Then I turned toward the road ahead. I walked forward, alone but free.